This is Don Kryptonium. This video will not be edited. It will be as it is. If I do mistakes, doesn't matter, because I feel a little bit uninspired recently. I must admit, I've been making so many videos on different subjects that I feel I have no energy to make the new videos. But don't let that fool you, because I've been staying on top of my game when it comes to the simple human curiosity. I'm staying curious on the subject of tokenomics, money, issuance of tokens, and try to think, try to think of the solutions, try to think of existing systems. So today, this is like the podcast. Let's use this as the education and try to educate ourselves on what is money, how is money created, is the creation of money the good or bad thing? If it's bad, can it be done better? What is the difference? How we can distinguish these two things? Then we are going to move to the issuance of the tokens. What is the dilution? How are you being diluted or not diluted? What means outstanding tokens or shares? So there is a lot. This is why I decided to not edit this video, because I just want to talk to you because I noticed there is big level of ignorance within the crypto, within the discussions. Before we start, look, this is very important video for me. Hit the like button, okay? And let me know if you enjoy this discussion. Let me know if you agree or disagree. So also share it. So what inspired me to record this video? Recently, I've seen a lot of discussions about Atom 2.0, and first attempts were like, I want to discuss, I want to be part of this. But then you realize that the level of ignorance is so high that it puts you away, because you would have to start from explaining people how the things work. So this is the video where we educate ourselves on the money creation. If you ask people, how is the money created? Okay, probably many people will answer governments. The governments print money. It is the Fed who prints money. It might be a surprise to you, but it's not governments who print money. In fact, you can easily Google how is money created, right? So we will do step by step, simple education. Money is created by the banks, and how is it created? You go to the bank, and you might ask them for the loan. As the loan is issued to you, this is how the money was created, through the bank deposit on your account. Right, so you added this money to the circulation. So, where is that? So, most of the money in economy is created not by printing process at central bank, but by banks when they provide loans. So even people think, hey, it's central banks. It is banks who create money. The private banks, majority of that. How does it work? Money is more than banknotes and coins. If you have bank account, you can use what's in it to buy things, typically with a debit card, because you can buy things with your bank account. We think of this as money, even though it's not cash. So it's, of course, that part you probably knew, that it's not printing cash. All of that is, or majority of that, is digital dollar, the digital dollar in the form of creation of the deposit on your bank account, and the cash and coins is actually very small amount. So this is the first part, right? The other part I wanted to talk to you is the money creation bad, is the money creation evil. And if we would remove maybe this creation of money through the banks, maybe we would solve the issues. Well, I want to tell you that this is not necessary. Imagine if we do not have this system in place of creation the money. And imagine you are not the wealthy person to be able to get the fruits what life offers to you. as the simple person, you have choice to go to the bank and get a loan and build the better life for yourself. And that's how it was done for most of the time by the small local entrepreneurs and small businesses that were going to the bank and using the loans to improve the lives of theirs and the small communities, right? So let's say you want to open a bakery, you don't have enough money, you go to the bank, propose them your business plan, and they issue you a loan based on that thesis of your business plan. They see the value for you and community, and they see that you will provide the economic activity in your area. So this is like valuable loan, because this loan will be used for this thing that will be the productive asset. What if the money is also loaned for non-productive assets? This is how the bubbles are created. And I want to give you few examples. We might start with the Japan over here. So if you use the loan for productive asset, for building the business, it's good. If you use the loan to speculate and use this money to buy speculative assets, this is how the bubbles are created, and this is how the bad loans are issued. In the case of Japan, Japan had incredible rise in the 80s and early 90s, which created this massive speculative bubble in the stock market and in the real estate. How it looked, for example, you were a young couple, you want to buy the house, you go to the bank because you want to buy the house that you want to live in, but your bank is like, hey, you see, the houses grow in a value. Why don't we give you twice the money so you can buy 2 houses, because the value will go up. So you live in one, then you hold the other one, and in a few years you can sell it with big profits. How about that? And you're like, hey, it sounds like a good idea. I'm taking the loan. But you need to understand that this loan is not used for production of the value in the economy. Similar, it happened in 2008 crisis in US. The people who were not really economically active, who did not have the participation in the economy, were given plenty of loans. No one cared, and this person could buy like 5 houses, right? And then we had another housing bubble. Going to the nearer past, we can go to the COVID crisis, right? Like when the COVID started, and something we called massive increase in the monetary supply. So it was not government doing this, but what has actually happened here, the government can lower the interest rates as the hope that it will encourage people for taking the loans. And the banks try to pursue people, hey, the loans are very cheap, take the loan and increase the economic activity. Of course, maybe that's not everything. So how about also the government take the loan, right, and give the money to the people? But what if this money will not be used for, fulfilling the life needs spent on the food and the bills, but what if they will be used for the speculation of the assets? It will cause massive increase in the stock price, right? And massive increase maybe in the crypto price as well. And we indeed saw this. The price is skyrocketed, and now we are at the consequences of deflating this. And did it really improve the lives of the people? No, because these loans that are non-productive loans but used as the speculative for the speculative means actually empower those already rich ones as the assets grow up in value, but they often make those who speculate actually poorer, as these are not used to improve the lives of the local community. So now I think you have the broad sense that the loans and creation of money doesn't have to be bad, but there is a lot of mistakes being done by the policy makers that create the bubbles and create a suffering of the regular citizens, right? Another thing, does the creation of money lower the value of money? So there is actually no proof of that, and you could see that. Let's go to the Google, right? Let's see the M2 money supply Japan. So let's historical, okay? And what is M2? It measures the money supply that includes cash, checking deposits, and easily convertible near money. It's broader measure than money supply than M1. I don't recommend you looking in the M1. Like it's not very clear how they count it, right? So this would be probably better representative. But Japan had like heavy money printing in 80s till the very early 90s, okay? Like there was like really increasing heavily, and they still increase as they cannot solve the past issues of the mistakes and the bubble they created, right? But if you see the Japanese yen to USD chart, let's go to the max, or USD to yen, Japanese yen. So now we talk as the yen is weakening, but if you go, from this moment of 80s and look at here when the money was printed and the bubble accelerated because everyone was speculating, right? The Japanese companies were making more money via speculative means that they were generating. So despite the heavy issuance and creation of money, the Japanese currency was continued to strengthen. What is the result? Okay, the result was as the corporations were becoming very rich in cash, the people were getting deep in debt. As the result, after the bubble crashed, you had the households that are left with the debt, while the corporations very rich in assets, and because they could use this advantage of very strong currency and acquire the overseas companies, for example, in the United States, like movie studios, something that United States did after war in Europe with the same strategy. So the creation of money doesn't necessarily devaluate the money. It's the trading that regulates the price. So we have the bubbles, we have creation of money, we have how it's all issued. So let's move now to the tokenomics and the company assets. So also many people probably would believe that if you buy the shares of the certain company, you forever hold, like you are just having the shares. Many people don't realize that many companies fund the expansions via issuance of the new shares, which means this flexible system, right? So for example, if you look at the Meta shares outstanding. So how is the shares outstanding measured? It's essentially the shares that are on the market, not including the ones that are in treasury of the company, for them. So you can see heavy issuance long ago, but it fluctuates, right? If you go to the Tesla shares outstanding, you can also see, Tesla shares actually continue increasing, but the Tesla stock was doing very well in those years where the Tesla shares were issued. So you need to understand you don't really measure the value in the number of shares or the tokens, but you measure as the total value of the company. Let's move it to the if we move it to the atom, okay. If the number of tokens increased by 3 times, but within 10 years, but the value of the enterprise increased by 10 times, obviously this is 3 times growth. Were you diluted? well, answer yourself. So now, let's get to the point of the localism that Ethan Buchman was proponent via Cosmos. Let's see if the banks are this evil, or rather big banks are evil, and if the crypto can bring the solution to that. Okay, if you look at the charts, we learn to say that the banks are really bad, bad guys, and we would assume, hey, maybe they have too much power. But when you look, the number of commercial banks in the United States is decreasing for like long time. When you look at the number of the banks in United Kingdom, the branches, they are decreasing, also over time. And it happens in, don't want to say all because I don't know, but for most of the countries for sure, developed countries. What is the result? There is more power to the large banks, and there is no power to the local banks that can make sure that you take in loan for the bakery, for the productive assets, instead for the speculation. So is the crypto leading there? My concern would be that crypto, that meant to aim for the solution of the current system, is making the problem much bigger via creation of few very centralized entities, and I bet this will happen, whether it's like BlackRock via USDC or whatever. They will get huge power of the issuance of the crypto dollar, right? With that, less work done on the checking how are the loans used. And you could see that people in crypto don't really use the loans for productive assets, but this is used for speculative means. And that's how was all DeFi used. I'm taking collateral to just really like leverage myself to the teeth, and then you have the liquidation. So this question is, are we going to drive more of bust, bumps and bust, or productive economy? My guess is with what we are doing right now, we are going to create more speculations and more the bubbles as we head into the future. And the idea of Cosmos, where is the Cosmos? It actually meant to be this local system of small chains, and I would feel this didn't really work. It didn't really work, as there is new chains appearing, and those chains, exactly trying to play the same game, do not serve the local but expand and dominate in the ecosystem. That brought the change to the Cosmos 2.0 that now will try to be center of that. So I just want to address the concerns of the issuance of the new tokens, as we established, as we talked about the money, as we talked about the shares. Does the issuance of new tokens is important? How does it affect the price? If you mint the tokens, put them into treasury, but don't let them into the circulation, you are actually not diluting any holder. Okay, this is one point. Is it better in the treasury than in the hands of its users? If you try to be currency, as it actually said here, you want to make sure that you deliver the kind of like maybe issuance, that you have good issuance, so the liquidity is there, and you don't cause this squeezes of liquidity, and then discourage the users and discourage the builders to be part of the ecosystem. So you need to make sure that there is consistent liquidity, and issuance to the stakers is good. The negative, the issuance to the stakers, it could be that these assets will not be used in any productive means, right? The solution, create the treasury and make sure that the treasury funds are used for productive means, which means we will issue the tokens only when there is some development going that could enrich the Cosmos ecosystem, right? So I'm not saying which is bad, which is like one of them has good thing and the bad thing, and other one of them has the good thing and bad thing also. But via the treasury, you can have more control of how this is used. it doesn't really matter if you mint all of the tokens within 1 day, 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years. Essentially, the effect will be the same as they go to the treasury. You're not diluting really anyone or anything. I guess that's it. I just wanted to start discussion. I just wanted to explain a few things. I just felt like I'm really bored today, you know. If you have questions, let me know. I feel the discussion about Atom 2.0 is actually completely pointless right now. There is some people trying to discuss scream, "We've been diluted. All that matters is fully diluted market cap." You're doing those things are like, what you talking about? Don't make any sense, but like people see the sense in that, you know. So it's kind of make you like, hey, I maybe shouldn't be part of this discussion, you know. But with that, like, you know, I feel it's maybe done just to pretend that people discuss and try to get to some conclusion. But as I said, those lead nowhere, because these are not real points and these are not true statements that are being thrown there. Okay, so yeah, sorry, not sorry. Go fuck yourself. I just felt like recording this. I don't feel like recording the videos. Delegate to London Kryptonium, you know, the greatest. Atom, Juno. And till the next time, don't Kryptoniums out.